Well, it's time to start season 2 of this FM06 Let's Retro Save from Luton Town. We look to build on what was a mirror image of real life, a 10th place finish in our first season back up in the second tier. But the problem is, in real life, the club got relegated in its second championship season. Our job is to avoid that, and in doing so, we've had a busier summer than we probably would have liked. We knew we were losing a bit of experience, and we've lost more than we'd bargained for in the last episode. But we have managed to get a few key players tied down. We've added a few players that on paper, I'm pretty happy with. Let's go and meet them all and then start our second season. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 10 of this FM06 Let's Retro Save with Luton Town. We are back to begin season 2 with our opening game of the season at home to Sheffield Wednesday. But before that, we've got to meet a whole host of players coming into the club this summer and reflect on a few bits of experience leaving the club too. No more dramatic big sales like Rowan Fine, but a lot of experience heading out the door. And also a few names that you'll get a bit of nostalgia from coming in. If you're looking forward to meeting them all, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. But for now, we're going to head straight into the transfer window because there is a lot of stuff to unpack. Well, we start with transfers out for a very important reason because I think we may have found the first sort of transfer market problem from the game, which I don't actually remember, but then it's 18, 19 years ago, is that it's really hard to get players out on loan second season. Seems to be very few offers. So I don't know if that's a problem with the game that I've forgotten about or something else, but we'll see how that unpacks as the years go on. But for now, it's been impossible to loan out the youngsters. We have released loads of our former academy players on frees. We've also let 6 senior players go. 4 of them you already knew about. 2 more experienced players we got paid offers for, and they dropped to sort of third choice in their position. So I thought it was the right decision to take. Let's start with the 4 you knew about though, because all of these had rejected new deals with us and pre-agreed deals to go elsewhere. Steve Robinson, the first of them, the Northern Irish international, past his prime and to be fair, had fallen behind Keith Keane, the youngster, in the pecking order. He's gone off to Bournemouth, who I think are in League One. They absolutely are. But I'm pretty happy with the replacement I've got in his position, so I'm not as worried about that one. When I was frustrated to lose was Ahmet Berkovic. Yes, Carlos Edwards a good backup. Yes, again, we've added quality. We've got Stephen O'Leary still as well. But Berkovic was a bit of a superstar last season. Again, past his 30th birthday, starting to decline a little physically, but still would have offered us an awful lot at this level. And that's proven by the fact that Coventry have taken him, and he's going to play a key part of their championship campaign as well. The third one is Russell Perrett off to Chester. We'd planned for him to go anyway. He's lost his pace very quickly and he's lost a lot of his quality. So he goes to the conference, which maybe shows the level he's at. Peter Holmes goes to Peterborough, another one that had been pre-agreed. A decent player, but someone we could have improved upon. And while I wasn't devastated to lose him, it would have been handy to keep him for one more year as a squad player so we didn't have to invest as much this summer. Then the 2 that we managed to get fees for. First one I'm delighted with. Marlon Beresford signed reduced terms a couple of episodes ago. We got in another good goalkeeper who you'll meet in a minute. And when Lincoln came, offered 10 grand for a keeper that is very much on the decline. I couldn't turn it down. A decent offer, a good bit of money for him, and someone who moves on to the lower levels. And then the final one that happened, well, just a few days ago. Paul Underwood on the left of midfield. I've been waiting all summer to try and upgrade that left-hand side of the pitch. I talked about it as a priority. It's been really hard work. I focused on key targets that I didn't get, and that left me a little bit behind when it came to the rest of the window. But in the end, we did get one in, albeit we paid a lot, and we had to recoup a little bit of the money. So Paul Underwood goes to Rotherham for £40,000. Still a decent pro, but again, 32, had 1 year left on his deal. And he would have been a backup this year. So it gives our new signing and Chris Brunt both a chance to get into the action. So all of those guys have moved on. As I mentioned, the youngsters we've not been able to get out on loan due to what I presume is a problem in the game. But if we have a look at the players that have come in, there are 7 additions to this senior squad. And there are some names there you're going to recognise. I'm going to skip to the second one first because it's the one you already know about. Joe Keenan has come in from Chelsea on a free. We had him on loan last year. Offers us an option at left back, an option on the left of midfield, an option in centre midfield, and in those games where we're ahead, if he's on the bench, he can come in as a holding man, as an extra addition. So Really pleased to have him. He's only 23. He might still improve a bit. And for 1.7 grand a week, a versatile option. It's what we missed a lot last year, is having a good backup in every position. So having versatile players like that on the bench can only make the world a difference. Then amongst the other six, there are some cracking names. Let's start with the one at the top, who I was thrilled to get in. Transfer listed most of the first season, but we couldn't do a deal. Richard Hughes joins from Pompey for 60 grand. Now, he's not going to start today because I want to do it slowly, but he is going to cause a slight change in the midfield style. You can immediately see attribute-wise, he's miles clear of the rest. However, he was going to come in on a left of a midfield two, which means Nichols will need to switch sides. Yes, Hughes is a bit more of a creative type player than some of the others, but he's still primarily a ball buster. And that means that we're going to have two hard-hitting ball winners in midfield, working hard with great engines for 3.6 grand a week on a 3-year deal. I thought this deal was fantastic. A Scottish international, a very good player, and I'm just really pleased to have him here. The only slight downside is that his only natural position in this game is holding midfield. So I will retrain him as a centre mid as well. But for the long term, if we do get promoted eventually, big ask I know, we'll probably need to play with a midfield three. So having a holding midfielder then may well be beneficial. Those two out the way though, let's move on to the next. A right winger. I've gambled and pay him for a bit of experience, but with Ahmet Berkovic out, I felt I had to do it. Sean Newton is in as a 30-year-old right winger. He is very good at what he does. He's still electric quick and very naturally fit. But if you look at the crossing, the dribbling, those key attributes in those wide areas, even the off-the-ball movement and the creativity, he's got it all in abundance. I feel he's an upgrade from what we've had. He was playing for West Ham last season in the Premier League, albeit not regularly. I just think it's a decent enough deal. He'll do the job for us in the short term, and then maybe next summer, a bit like we have with Beresford and with Underwood, we can then sell him on and get some of our money back. The next one's a bit of a gamble, not really for the first 11 for now, but Kerrier Gilbert from Arsenal, good young player in this game, natural at right back and centre half, 400 quid a week. Physically he's good, mentally he's got the excellent attributes where you need them, love good positioning in a defender, he's determined, he's aggressive, and he can tackle a mark, and ultimately he's rated very well in the majority of the core attributes he needs for his position. So we're bringing him in. I was hoping to loan him out. We haven't had an offer yet. Again, part of that problem, but I'm hoping in the long term that might be a solution, because maybe if we do end up losing a Foley or a Keane down the road, he can offer us something out there. Someone who can offer us something immediately though is our second signing of the summer from Pompey. Andy O'Brien comes in for 300 grand. It was at the point where I thought I was going to lose Marcus Heikkinen, who has now discussed and agreed a new deal. But Andy O'Brien, 3.5 grand a week on a 4-year deal. He's a very good defender. Again, gives us an option of 3 at the back with Coyne and Heikkinen. Also gives us 3 quality players there. We saw last year when either of those 2 centre-halves were out and we played a Barnett, a Perrett, Baxter occasionally as well, we lost most of the games. So when we've got 2 a week and we need a top centre-half, Andy O'Brien is definitely there to be the man. I'm a big fan of him. Always thought he was underrated in this game. He's a player I quite frequently sign. But great defensive attributes, fantastic addition, and a regular Ireland international, which may help Foley and Keane develop too. Penultimate signing, a name you'll all recognise in goal. Our replacement for Marlon Beresford is Alan McGregor. Not quite at the level you would expect yet, but a young goalkeeper with plenty of potential. Allows us to actually rotate for the cup and protect Lee Grant a bit, who picked up a number of injuries last year. And with that in mind, having a good backup keeper became more important, because those games where we had to play Beresford, one with Dean Brill as well, it cost us. I want to make sure we've got quality, and Alan McGregor is a great number 2 in my book. So hopefully he'll help us out on that side of things. And then I blew most of the rest of the budget on improving that left-hand side. Aside from Keenan, we'd not been able to do it. It was becoming a really frustrating year. And when this guy came on the transfer list, I went partly for ability, but mainly for potential. Sekou Baraji, he's an under-21 France international. He's primarily a left midfielder, but can cover at left back as well. He's 22 years of age. He's on 2.5 grand a week. And while he's probably not worth now what we paid for him, the potential is there. The scout report suggested he's got the ability to be great in the future. And he's got some of those core attributes as well. Important when replacing Underwood, we got someone who could cross the ball really well. And I think Baraji is going to make a difference because he can do all of that. And physically, he's brilliant as well. I also like the fact he's 6'1" at the back post. Can we win a few headers, nick a few free goals? We've not got it with Sean Newton on the other side. So having it here is really important. Overall, I think it's a good summer. I don't think we've gone forward as much as I'd like. For example, we've only really improved one position on the left. I wanted to improve both. Yes, we've improved centre midfield. We got in another great centre half. We've not been able to do the business we wanted up front. I tried to get Stephen Thompson, the old Rangers centre forward. Kenwyne Jones, again, the work permit problem, despite the fact he was playing in the World Cup. We also went for a couple of other experienced ones, which both fell down as well. So if Steve Howard gets injured, I think we're still in trouble. We've managed to get most players tied down, and we've got a bigger and bulkier looking squad than we had before because we've still got the youngsters, Baxter, Barnett, Gilbert, who we can't loan out. Rob Beckwith, similar, very good young keeper. Going to have to make a decision there eventually. And then up front, we've still got the four, albeit Morgan's out of contract this year. And at the moment, he's the only one who won't reduce his demands. Everyone else has signed one for sort of $5,000 a week or less. And Dean Morgan is pushing the boat out. So we've got to be careful. I have got to make a decision at left back. I've decided, I think, to start the season with Joe Keenan. And then maybe Sol Davis can be the backup. We'll go for Keenan and Baraji down that side. Otherwise, I'm going to try and bed everyone in and just do it pretty gradually. We go for our fixtures. The pre-season's been solid. But to be honest, we've not played anyone of real quality. So today is going to be a real test for this team. Sheffield Wednesday at home on the opening day of the season. And this is the 11 that we're going to go for. I've stuck tactically, as you can see, with what we were doing before. We'll do the switch with Nichols and Keane soon so we can bring in Richard Hughes. But today, my primary focus is to provide continuity. It's something I always do. Those of you that have followed me for a long time will know. We try and look after the 11, bed people in gradually. And that's why both O'Brien and Hughes, despite being eventual upgrades, are on the bench today. And the likes of Coyne and Heikkinen stay in, as do Keane and Nichols. And we should mention as well, Keane's having a brilliant bit of development at 19. Kevin Foley is doing really well at 21. It's probably a matter of time before we get a huge offer for one of them. We have had an offer for Lee Grant this summer. We did get one for Nichols. We got a few for Howard. But I'm not making the mistake we made in real life. Those players were sold, Nichols and Howard, and we got relegated. We've learnt our lesson here. So this is the 11 and 16 we've gone for. The conditioning for all of them is pretty good. Baraji's not quite fit because obviously he's only just come in. And amongst the others, Sean Newton had a little knock in pre-season but has bounced back. And Keane has not been able to play as much after a late summer away for the under-21s. So the 11 in full is Lee Grant in goal. Foley and Keane in the fullbacks with Heikkinen and Coyne maintaining the middle places. We've also got Newton and Baraji out wide, the two new signings, with Keane and Nichols providing continuity in the middle. And then Warren Feeney is back after a good pre-season up front. He looks fit, he's firing. We got an offer for him, but not quite big enough. And he's alongside Big Steve Howard, who is signed on now for another year as our top earner. Hopefully, he'll provide the goals and the assists as we go in to the Sheffield Wednesday game. Will season 2 go as well as the first? Let me know in the comments if second season syndrome hits, or you think we're going to be comfortable and survive again. Here we go then, as our season begins against a very decent Sheffield Wednesday team, the likes of Coughlin and Wood at centre-half. You've also got Maurice Ross at right-back, Glenn Whelan in midfield. There's a lot of other younger players that maybe aren't at the top level that we would hope to get a result over. So let's go and get into the first half, check out the player ratings, and hopefully we'll be able to get out on top in this one. Oh, it's a Glenn Whelan free kick early on, takes a nick, held by Lee Grant, who's under offer from Doncaster, but it was a pathetic one. I can assure you, he won't be going anywhere while they'll remain like that. As Howard flicks on a free kick, causing trouble already. It's exactly what we'd aimed for, hadn't it? But it's working out. As Heikkinen goes forward towards him again, flicked on for Feeney, same combination. Warren Feeney drags his shot. But after 20 minutes of the season, we can see yet again that Steve Howard's going to be a massive threat up there. And now with half an hour gone, we are back with Baraji winning a ball back in midfield, doing a good job there. It's a much more aggressive and physical left-hand side than we've had previously, as Foley gets the ball into Nichols from the right, up to Steve Howard, who's got support, back to Nichols, the skipper again, and it's now Baraji down the left, gets to the byline, great run, Feeney's in the middle, good ball, out to Howard, and he puts it in on the rebound. Steve Howard taps in, that's what we want, but Baraji, great work down the left, and it's that extra pace, him and Newton flying in behind, Keenan backing him up on the left as well. We're so much quicker on the break this time. We've got so much more physicality. I'm hoping it's going to pay dividends as Sean Newton cuts in there. His shot is pretty high, wide and ugly. 5 minutes to the break. It's been a competent display. And bar a Glenn Whelan free kick, we've had nothing against our own goal. We'll tell the lads we're pleased with our performance. It's been an interesting one, I think, but overall, we've got to be pleased. It's not often we've had games where there's been this few highlights in the first half. Maybe that will change as we go on. We've still got Carlos Edwards on the bench if Newton's not tucked in quite as well as we like. We know it's going to take a couple of these players a while to settle as Howard finds Feeney. And if he can get back on form, started last season with 10 in 10. We'd be happy if he does that. He gives it away to Nichols, who manages to get the shot away just over the bar. And it's another chance for Luton. They've offered nothing so far, but at 1-0, we know it's always dangerous. And here they come. Camped in the opposition half. Ross up to 4 and must be offside. Must be offside. There was no one near him. It won't count. Thank God for that. I was about to berate the defence for the worst offside line you ever see. With an hour gone, we get away with it. And we are going to make our first change. Newton will come off. And we're going to bring on Carlos Edwards on the right. I think that's the only one we're going to do for now. Although, I say that, Baraji's struggling on the left a bit. I could bring Richard Hughes on left midfield. And I could bring Morgan on up front. I think I'm going to leave them 5 more minutes. But it would be nice to get other debutants in today. The other option, of course, is to go more defensive. Bring on an Andy O'Brien, chuck Heikkinen in the holding role. I'm not going to do that just yet. As Grant goes long towards Howard, we can get a second, we can think about it. Baraji out wide, cuts back. Keenan's with him. It's a terrible back pass. I should have done it earlier. He's got away with that to an extent as Foley's covered for him brilliantly. And Nichols gets it away. But that, I think, is the warning sign. He's a bit too tired as Howard loses out to Wood. It's over the top and we're in trouble. Foran gets there. He's beaten the keeper to it. And I've waited too long. Lesson learned on the opening day of the season. It's going to be a draw like it was last time. What a pathetic decision that was. We've waited too long. We've been passive and we've been punished. We're going to take off a knackered Baraji for Hughes, something we should have done a few minutes ago. And the same for Feeney and Morgan up front. Hopefully, that fresh legs, that bit of pace in behind will give us some impetus. But I feel like I've spoilt the best opportunity now. Are we going to find a way on the front foot? It's a Keenan corner. We know we've got a threat in there. Steve Howard's one of them. Beaten to it, but it's bobbling around all over the shop. And then it hits the bar and then it's cleared off the line. And it's another corner kick. It's a great opportunity that goes begging as Keenan's on the duty again. So back to the edge of the box to Carlos Edwards. In towards Keith Keane. It was a nice work routine. Not one we requested, but we almost got luck from it. As it is though, we're heading towards 4 minutes of stoppage time. And it's gone pretty quiet. Steve Howard gets the goal again. But it's an average start to the season. Yes, physicality played a part in the last half an hour. Fatigue for some of those legs that haven't had as many minutes as we'd like in pre-season. But overall, I just left the subs too long. And I was punished for it defensively. A decent start though. A draw against Sheffield Wednesday. And we get off the mark on the opening day, which is the most important thing. We've got offers going in for other players that we've looked at. But nothing for our players yet. We've looked at it in the reserves and the 18s as well. Still waiting for offers on Calvin Andrew, on Danny Stevens, etc. They're just not forthcoming at the moment. And the same for the keepers. Let's have a look at the fixtures though for when we're going to be back after that solid start to the championship season. Can we avoid the second season syndrome? It's going to be a tough start. We've got Derby and Norwich next. Then Birmingham and Pompey back to back between a League Cup tie. They are two of the sides that came down last year. And then a bit later on, we've got some of the teams that were in that playoff mix last season. Preston and Leicester, 2 of them. Probably the games we're going to come back for. And hopefully by then, we'll have been able to shift a few on loan. And more importantly, we'll have been able to get this whole squad up to speed. Because the promising signs are there, but they're not all fully fit just yet. If you are enjoying this series though, as we move into the second season and you want to stay up to date and see how the rest of it goes, whether we can avoid what happened to Luton in real life, then please do put a thumbs up on it and subscribe down below. Turn that notification bell on. We'll be back every weekday to continue the season, starting tomorrow with that double header for Preston and Leicester, unless we get through in the cup and get a great tie. And in the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think of our summer transfer business. Do you think I've left us short anywhere? I would have liked one more on the left-hand side, but we've still got 45 grand. If we find a real bargain, maybe there's a chance to get someone yet. Let me know where you think we're going to finish this season. I hope you'll come and join me to find out the answer. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Check out the Twitch channel if you still want FM24 up in the eye above. Loads of live streams this week and next. And I'll see you again here at the same time tomorrow to reflect on the end of the transfer window and play a big doubleheader in the EFL Championship.